took out a lot of hair.
And the key to breeding rabbits, or at least for us, in the summer months or late spring is do it in the evening.
We are into our second breeding season, I guess you could say, with our rabbits. One thing that we try and aim for is to get 2 breedings per bunny in the springtime. Now, this year has been really hard to make that happen because it has been so hot. That is one thing we do find with the Champagne d'Argent rabbits. They are outdoors in their hutches, as you know if you've watched our other videos. If you haven't, be sure to subscribe and watch those videos. I'm going to pick on anybody. They don't really perform well when it's almost 40 degrees, and who wants to really do it? So our trick here is getting them to go in the evening. We just have moved in a couple of our mums that we've weaned for their second breed now, and it's probably running about 3 weeks behind schedule. Normally we would try and rebreed those mums at about 7 weeks. Right before we wean, that's when they get bumped in to be bred, so that when we have our babies arrive, they have time to grow out and be butchered really before those August heats kind of really come in. So we're definitely behind schedule on that, as you know, you can tell. But we have some success. And goose fights, apparently. There's always somebody who's squealing and whining around here. If it's not pigs, it's sheep buying, and now apparently geese. So here we have one of our litters. This was, I believe, in April, I want to say April 14th. I don't have my paperwork right in front of me, but definitely at weaning age. We need to get these guys separated, and Mama rebred. She's looking very unimpressed to still be in with her babies. But like I say, usually we breed and then they move on, and we just haven't had the weather for doing the breeding. But
so, little trick here. If you want to film bunnies behaving and being calm, feed them.
That's the key to success. But one thing we wanted to get these guys all out here was to show you just how they're a little bit different colored. You can see already they haven't fully put in their frosting coat.
It's coming. They've mostly turned.
Yeah.
They go from the Champagne d'Argents go from a black, solid black as babies to this frosted tips.
Mm-hmm.
Now this one here in the middle,
it's got beautiful color.
It's going to be much whiter overall, more frosted.
But staying the really dark, I know, sweetie, the really dark underneath, which is nice. Where this one here is going to be quite a bit darker. To be honest, the mum, if you just show her there, she would be a dark Champagne d'Argent. In our breeding program, I would have said the more frosted out is more our desire than the darker color. But she's a very fantastic mom, so we have kept her. But we've really selected her babies as we've selected the more ideal coloring in our mind. They're happy.
And the lighting's terrible over here, but these are our youngest bunnies right now. And they're still in their solid little black coats. Despite the heat that has got a bit of a setback for us, the bunnies are doing pretty good this spring. So we're still on track for, we kind of aim for sort of 3 litters per year, like 3 breedings per year. So we're still on track for that, and we're still staggered so that they don't all come at once. Tonight we're only trying to breed the 2 does, and we'll probably come back either next weekend or even 2 weeks from now and do another breeding. But by that time we'll probably have a few of the oldest rabbits from the first litters on their way to the freezer, as I'm standing here watching these cute little baby bunnies. That's kind of where we're at with the rabbits at the moment. Despite the heat, everybody's doing really well, and we have lots of babies. We have our rabbit hutches in a bunch of different places, mostly just because we don't have everything cleaned up, as you can see. But one thing we will say is, when it's hot, the shade is important, and you can see this big red maple It basically provides like deep shade. They're a lot cooler under here than they are just in their hutches out in the open. So definitely something to consider. I mean, right now it's not that hot, but I think it was 28 degrees Celsius
today,
and it was a little cooler than it has been lately.
So I just figured out another little trick, because obviously it's hot and nobody really wants to breed. We're getting a little bit of action, but usually when we put the doe in with the buck, we like to witness at least 2 or 3 fall-offs before we walk away from the cage, just to know for sure we're going to get some babies. Little trick I just found out is I put Roly Poly and Tommy together. Initially, great, we got our first fall off, not a problem. Then she went a little, what do you want to call that?
Not interested,
a little bit stagnant, and just hunkered down in a corner. And I quickly thought, well, we'll just give this a little try. So I grabbed a handful of really nice fresh green grass and I tossed it in just off to the side, right as Tommy went to sniff at her. And she moved forward and he went in for the kill, and he got a really, really good fall off. So you might only get one shot at that, but if you're trying to get that second fall off to be sure that you've got a bred rabbit, give it a shot.
a little bit of green food.
A little bit of green food, psych her out, and he goes in there.
So another kind of important tip here, it's nothing to do with breeding, but it's something to definitely keep in mind if you've got rabbits when it's hot, is you don't want them running out of water. Now we generally absolutely make sure they have water. Like we check twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening. But when it's really, really hot, or when we have bigger groups, like bigger litters, we will check in the middle of the day just to make sure, because sometimes those young ones, when you've got, 6 or 7 rabbits in a hutch, they can drain it pretty quick. Definitely something you want to keep in mind. And kind of going on to the bit of the deep shade, we usually make sure that they don't point, the open part of the hutch doesn't point towards like sort of the prevailing sun direction, kind of, especially midday. It's fine if it's like first thing in the morning or last thing in the evening, but you don't want them baking in the sun, in the direct sun, all day long. So just a couple little hot weather rabbit tips.